Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Game Design Archive. Today, we're going to talk about that games should value your time. Go ahead, Edward.
Yes. Value your time. What do we mean?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna clarify that right now. So, when you look at reviews or discussions about games, a lot of the time you'll hear people say like, "Oh, this game is so addicting. I played it for 8 hours straight." Or, do you have any other examples?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, like that.
Or like, wow, this campaign is 150 hours long.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
It's so amazing. You can play it forever. And I think there is some value to that. Like, I think obviously there is inherent value or whatever in having, how do you say, more playtime, right?
Mhm.
You get more for your money or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like people are not valuing their time enough, right? As the title says. And what I mean by that is the quality of those hours is very low, right? So they're saying things like, "Oh, you get 100 hours," but how many of those hours were actually enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
That's the
or
issue.
meaningful in any way, right?
Yeah. And so I guess that can be a bit hard to it's a bit subjective, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we are more strict about that, I feel like. I mean, I'm very strict. It's actually ridiculous how bad it's gotten for me with that. Like, I'll see a game and it's like 30 hours or something, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I need to be very interested to bother for 30 hours.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's
maybe
not
we
to say
should
I can't play the game for more than that. It's that the game length can't be that, right? There's a very big difference between that, right? Because you can play Counter-Strike, for example, for thousands of hours.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool with that. But a game of Counter-Strike is not 1,000 hours. A game of Counter-Strike is like 1 hour. That's actually almost too long in my opinion, but
yeah,
I get why it needs to be almost that long at least.
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe we should like give an example of the bad kind of wasting your time. And I think the classic would obviously be something like World of Warcraft, right?
Yes.
Where it's like you just grind and you play the game to grind the gear. It's sort of in the same vein as like last week's episode where
I was gonna say
where we talked about like extrinsic rewards and stuff. People who play World of Warcraft in general. I'm not saying everyone or whatever, or that I'm not saying it's not okay to enjoy that either, right? But like in general, people play that game to like get the loot, right? It's like that's the fun part of the game. You do the like
or the social part, right? They'll just play with their friends or whatever. Yeah. They're not actually enjoying the game.
Yeah, but like I've actually spoken to World of Warcraft players who say like, "Oh yeah, this raid sucks, but I really need this loot or whatever." Like, this raid is really boring or whatever.
For sure.
And like, not only is like we mentioned in last week's episode, that's like the wrong kind of motivation you should have when playing games, right? But it's also a waste of your time because you're not enjoying the game and you're not learning anything, you're not getting anything from it.
No.
It's just like it's literally designed to waste your time.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I want to point out is that it's not necessarily only like how should you call it, like, because obviously like something like World of Warcraft is very maliciously designed in a way. It's like it's designed to be addicting, right?
Yes. It's actually I want to point something out that this is sort of off topic, but it drives me crazy how people can what's the word? Argue this is a good thing, right? Which is in games like World of Warcraft included. They don't even so in an RPG your level matters, right? But what they've figured out is that it's more fun if you can do the content in any order. so all the content scales to your level.
It does? In World of Warcraft?
I think they did. Maybe they don't do it in the latest expansion, but they did an expansion with that, and no one was bothered by it.
Yeah.
I don't keep track of what they're doing. I'm sorry. I don't actively play World of Warcraft, so I can't tell you. But I know there was an expansion where there was like 3 areas, and you could pick whatever you wanted. And that kind of design is crazy to me, because you're saying it's sort of an extra step, right? It's not only, oh no, you're just grinding and wasting your time. It's still pointless normally, but you get what I'm saying. It's your level literally does not matter. It's just gonna scale everything to your level. So it's just making the number go up until you hit the max number.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Continue.
But yeah, I was going to talk about games that aren't like World of Warcraft specifically, because I feel like a lot of games today that aren't designed in this way, where it's like a total obvious like waste of your time. Like even games that are pretty highly regarded are kind of wasting your time. And I think one pretty good example of this is the popularity of it depends on what kind of RPG, but I'm talking about RPGs in the style of like The Witcher and Baldur's Gate and stuff, like popular RPGs. Because those games are several hundred, or not several hundred hours, but like at least 100 hours long, right? And specifically The Witcher, because I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, so I can't speak much about it. But I have played The Witcher 3, and like there's so much in The Witcher 3 that's a total waste of time. Now, first of all, it's like there's a bunch of cutscenes, and sure, I can get that some people enjoy cutscenes, so I'm not gonna talk about that. But like, it feels like 50% or more, maybe even like 75% of the time when you play The Witcher 3, you're like going from point A to point B on your horse. And if I ask the average Witcher 3 player, what's the gameplay of Witcher 3? Nobody's gonna say, oh yeah, you just ride a horse all of the time, basically. Yeah. But that's like actually what you do. And I think that's such, like, it's so weird that like no one like brings this up ever, because like 50 to 75% of the time in The Witcher 3 is actually wasted. And now the rest of The Witcher 3 isn't very good either, but like you're not even getting The Witcher 3 gameplay, right? You're only getting like, oh, you're riding a horse from point A to point B.
Yeah. My favorite counter example to that, like what you're saying, is The Witness, because it's, I would say it's like 30-40 hours if you're not doing like everything, but the main plus some extra maybe, right? Would you agree? 30-40?
Yeah, I think I did it in like 25 or something, but something like that. Yeah.
And then you could argue, okay, it's a puzzle game, how can it be that long, right? But most of the time in that game is spent on puzzles, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, you're, like you said, you're not riding a horse around technically you can walk around the island forever if you want, I guess. But that's also a funny thing, because the island in The Witness is really small. It's just, but it feels big, but it's really small. It's really fast to go from one side to the other. Whereas some of these other games, they're actually huge, like their level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think The Witness is a pretty good example, right? Because like, as you said, it's like 20 to 40 hours long or whatever. But like, if we had like a hypothetical scenario where someone memorized all the puzzles, and didn't make any mistakes and just like speedrun the game, right? They could probably do it in like a few hours, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's not that the game is long, it's that the game is deep and the game is hard, right?
Yeah, that is true. But my point is, there is a lot of content.
Yeah.
That, it's arguable, right? But it, to me, in my opinion, it is meaningful in the sense that it builds on what the idea is in that game. Whereas in some other games, it's more, you have the same encounter you've already had to pad the game to be longer, or you're grinding experience like a JRPG. oh, I need to be level 50 to kill this boss, and I'm level 30. Nice. And then you go kill side mobs for 3-4 hours, and it's like, yeah, I got more hours. Way. So
that's a very good point. Because like The Witness is like, I think it's a bit extreme in the way that it's structured, right? Because it's like you have sections that have themes, and then you have sort of an introduction to the theme, and then you have sort of deeper in the theme, and then you have sort of harder in the theme.
Yeah, and then you have combinations of themes.
Exactly. So I think The Witness is a very good example of that, because like it's very structured in that way.
Yeah.
But I think you can even see it in like, because obviously The Witness is like a puzzle game, so it's a bit different.
Yes.
But I think you can even see that sort of stuff in like action games, where it's like, you know, I always say I'm not going to bring up Final Fight, but I'm going to bring up Final Fight again. It's like, sure, there are some encounters in that game that are a bit like, I get, what's the terminology? Like popcorn enemies, right? Where it's like, okay, you just, well, that's not the right term, right? But you get what I mean, where it's like,
enemies because they're filling out the counter.
Exactly. I
have a hard
said the wrong
enemy
term.
and you want the not hard enemies to make the hard enemy even harder, right?
Yeah. What I was going to say is like easy encounters. Like, let's say the first level, for example. It's like until the boss fight, it's basically impossible to like even get hit, right? Because it's so easy. And obviously that's the first level and whatever, so it's meant as a bit of an introduction. So it does have some stuff like that. But then for basically the rest of the game, every encounter has like some sort of curveball. It's like, I don't know. You'll have like the guy with the knife, right? And then you'll have the giant guy rush in from the side outside of the screen. And then you'll have like one of those jumping chicks, whatever, you know. And they combine everything in like different ways. And like every scenario feels unique, right? Because it is
the like matrix design thing.
Yeah,
this is a bit of topic, and we should definitely make an episode on this. But that's actually one of the things I feel like mainstream game design actually gets right. So they sometimes, especially in the context puzzle, I think it's more widely applicable, not only in puzzle context, but you do the design matrix, right? Where you'll have mechanics and they'll be squared, right? So you'll have the mechanic and another mechanic on. You get what I'm saying, right? And then you can combine mechanic A with mechanic B and mechanic C.
Yeah.
And that matrix makes the game more interesting. And I think that way of looking at design is really interesting. And it's also one of the ways, again, because that is actually recognized in mainstream stuff. So yeah, that's interesting. But yes, we should definitely do one on that at some point. But today we're talking about time.
Wasting your time.
Yeah, we're wasting your time.
Yes. You should close this video. No.
Please no. Please no.
So, I actually wanted to talk about like something related to Final Fight. And that's that I think the enemy design in Final Fight is very good. Like, as I just mentioned, you'll have like enemies and they have like strengths or weaknesses. And like, then when the level designers design the level, right, they like went, okay, if I put this guy next to this guy, what happens? Like, what weakness does the first guy have and what weakness does the second guy have? And can they like cover for each other? And a lot of the time the answer is yes, and so the player is fucked because they are fucked, right?
Yeah.
But there is like a trend in like enemy design, which I've seen a lot in like recent games. Probably a lot. Like, it's not a very recent problem, but like it's definitely become worse with time. And that's that enemies like aren't actually enemies, right? And so I actually played a game specifically for this episode because I wanted to research and I'm so incredibly dedicated. And I played Fear. It's the like horror shooter whatever with the little girl that's super spooky or whatever.
Ooh,
now
spooky.
Yes. whenever I hear people talk about fear, they always say, "Wow, the AI is so smart. It's like super ahead of its time, and like this is like the peak of AI, and it's only been downhill from here." And I never really believed it. Like I didn't really put much thought into it, but I like looked at Fear and I was like, that doesn't look like the best game ever. They're probably over exaggerating a bit, right? But I actually played this to like prepare for this video, as I said. And I've got to say, I went in with not the highest expectations ever, and I'm a bit disappointed even. Like, the AI is kind of incompetent in Fear. Well, it's partly not the AI. It's a lot in the level design as well. But like, so the thing that they say is like, wow, the AI tries to flank you, and they try to like coordinate in teams or whatever, and they try to ambush you and stuff like that. And none of it really works because it's so like trivially, like every encounter is like trivially easy to end before any of that happens. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? It's like you'll enter a room and then you'll have enemies entering the room from another door, and like you can just spray at the door until like all of them are dead because they're just gonna walk into your line of fire, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's very, because like if you let them flank you, yes, they will flank you. Like if you sit there passively and you wait and you know, you give them the time to flank you, yes, they will flank you. But like if you actually try to prevent it, it's like trivially easy to do that. And I think the reason I wanted to bring this up in relation to this topic is because I feel like a lot of action games, specifically nowadays, kind of design enemies not to be threats.
Yeah. Well, it ties into the World of Warcraft thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where they want it to be a background element for your grind of experience.
Exactly. And I feel like sort of the way the Fear enemies are designed is sort of similar, but it doesn't have any grind, right? So it's like the enemies are there to like look cool and like do cool stuff, but like their actual goal, I guess, is to just be killed by the player. And I don't know, it feels, I think when other designers say that like the Fear AI is good, it feels a bit insulting, because like now that I've played the game, because it's like, how bad do you think I am at video games?
Like, I think the problem is that you're comparing it to like Final Fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you could argue intelligence all day, right? But we're talking about game AI, and I don't need to play those games to see that the AI in something like Final Fight is way more interesting than the AI in Fear, right? In terms of what you're supposed to do in that game. Yeah. Because it's not really interesting that... Okay, hot take here, right?
Yeah.
That you don't think is a hot take at all, probably, but maybe someone does. Smart game AI sucks.
Yeah.
You want game AI that enhances the experience, right? So it's designed around the mechanics. Yeah. And if that is flanking, sure, it could be flanking. Maybe flanking makes the AI interesting. But it could also be the AI is super simple. I think a game that you played that I haven't played yet that does this really well is Silksong, where you'll have super simple enemies and they'll overlap in interesting ways, right? You'll have some fly or something.
Yeah, you'll have like, I think one very good example of that is that like the flying enemies actually try to stay out of range in Silksong. Yeah. And so the flying enemies are super annoying.
Behaviors, right? It's
no, they're like, they're literally just like, exactly. Yeah. It's like if I jump to like try to hit them, they will just fly up. And like it's super simple behavior, right? But it's super annoying, like in a good way, because flying enemies, it's like, okay, I need to jump and like hit them, and then you like jump and hit them, and then they fly away, and so you don't hit them. But then there's like 3 other guys on the ground who like take advantage of that opportunity to like damage you and stuff.
Yeah, I also think another thing is missing from that equation in the discussion. I mean, right, which is that not only is it not necessary for it to be complex, the AI, intelligent or whatever, it's also helping, right? Because you get clarity from, you said, the fly, what it does. If we make up, I don't know if it's exactly how this fly works, right? But let's say it's how it works. It works. It flies up if you go for it, or else it goes down and shoots you, right?
Yeah.
If that's the behavior, that's very predictable. But that doesn't mean it's bad in the context of a game, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's got very, let's say it has a super complex AI where it's like, oh, it's gonna fly up in this certain context where there's walls and do this thing in that and do like huge, state machine of potential possibilities, then it becomes super boring to play against, because you can't evaluate what it's gonna do next, and also it's probably not gonna do anything good for itself, because it's not like, the designer can't make the scenario interesting because he can't control what the enemy does, because it's so complex in what behavior it chooses to do. So it doesn't work.
I think another game, which is not an action game, which is why I bring this up, because it's good to like get several different examples from several genres, that has very good AI, that's very simple, is Fire Emblem.
Yes, that's
because
true, actually. Yes,
Fire Emblem has permadeath, right? So if your character dies in the battle, you either need to like restart the battle, or you need to keep playing the game without that person because they died and it's permadeath. So basically the way the AI works in that game, like, it's obviously a bit more complicated and stuff, but like in essence, the way the AI in Fire Emblem works is like, if they can kill one of your guys, they will kill one of your guys. And they don't care if like they put themselves in danger. No. They don't care about anything like that. It's just like, can they kill one of your guys? Okay, then they do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like the most brutal AI ever, right? Because they're doing exactly what the player doesn't want the AI to do.
Yeah.
And it feels like a lot of designers see that as bad design. It's like, oh no, we shouldn't kill the guys because the player will be sad when there's permadeath. And it's like, no, that's exactly what you should do if you want good AI.
I've even seen gamers say that it's not bad because of that, but say that, the AI in Fire Emblem is boring because it's, technically the units are just killing themselves, right?
Yeah.
The enemy will run. You have a cluster of units and they'll just run into the cluster and die.
Yeah.
But they can get one of your guys.
Yeah, right? They get one before going out, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
it's like
super, like, not human behavior, right?
Yeah.
But
But it's like the most dangerous like tactics / RPG AI I've ever been up against, because like they actually like try to fuck me over in the worst way possible.
Yes.
And to sort of tie this all together into like the topic of this video, because it may seem that we've gone on like an AI tangent here for a while, it's like, the reason why I bring this stuff up is because I feel like, and this is, I think I heard this from Jonathan Blow first. I'm not sure, he might not have been the first guy who said it, but whatever. But he said something along the line of like, everybody wants to make the player feel smart, but no one wants to make the player be smart. I think it was him, right?
I mean, he probably said it for sure, but I don't know if someone said it before him, probably. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that's like a very like good point, because all the game designers are so focused on making the player feel smart, so they make the AI like in fear, right? Because it's like, oh wow, the player feels so smart because he predicted that they were gonna flank him, but in the end it didn't really matter that they flanked him, because whatever, Whereas what game designers should do is they should make the Fire Emblem AI so that the player has to be smart, because if the player places their character where they can be killed, then that character will be killed. And so the game forces the player to be smart, right?
Yes.
I sort of said that in a very long way, but I think you get what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, I want to bring up one point that we sort of not skipped over, but like to clarify the distinction we're trying to make. So one discussion we had before this, which was sort of the reason why we we had this topic, right? One of the reasons we decided to talk about this topic, right?
Yeah.
Was that we had a discussion about like playing games for a very long time. So for example, like the statement we said was, if you can play a game for 8 hours without feeling exhausted. I mean, you will feel exhausted, but if you're playing a game for 8 hours straight, then it's probably not a good game if you can do that without being like super exhausted.
Yeah.
I get that there are people that are super dedicated hardcore players that will play a game for 8 hours. They'll play like, I don't know, like Tual Dodonpachi grind or whatever for 8 hours. I can't do that, I can tell you that. I would die if I did that. But I could play, I mean, I shouldn't say because I would die for other reasons, but I could play World of Warcraft for 8 hours because it's completely brain dead, right?
Yeah. It doesn't like... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't have any expectations on the player, right? It's like you're just sitting there doing brain dead stuff and like drooling at the same time.
And I get that there are parts that might have that, but again, they're too far in for me, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want... I mean, you can argue all day, oh, but the at the end game or whatever. Yeah, sure, okay, give me the end game. I don't want... Then don't...
Yeah.
Like, you can't argue it's a good game if 99% of the game is grinding to get to the good part. I don't care, right?
I think, actually, I didn't even think of this like beforehand, but now that you say it, I kind of... Because Fear is sort of similar to Half-Life, right? And both Fear and Half-Life do this really weird thing that I hate, where it's like, they'll have a combat encounter where there's like 2 enemies, and it's like super easy, and like you just kill the 2 enemies. And then there's like 15 minutes of like downtime, right? Where it's like you're walking around the map, you're like discovering stuff, you're doing some physics puzzle or whatever. Or in the case of Fear, there's like a really shitty horror section that's not even scary, right? And I feel like there's this trend in design where it's like, oh, you need to give the player downtime. Because they need to recover. Because designers realize, right, that if you just like throw stuff at them, like if you throw actual gameplay at the player, like constantly, the player will be exhausted.
Yeah.
So they say you should add downtime to your game so that the player doesn't become exhausted.
The Ninja Gaiden game, the new one, the Ninja Gaiden 4, where it looked ridiculous. You were like sliding on something. It looked like surfing on. It looked ridiculous. Because I don't know, it looked like one of those old, mascot,
there's like on-rail
games,
section,
right?
Yeah,
it was so out of character for that. Not that I've played the old ones, I should probably, but look, very brutal ninja game, and then you're like sliding on this. I don't
it's like on-rail Subway Surfer game.
Yeah, Subway
Surfer. I think that's a very good point, right? Because a lot of designers say that you need this downtime, and like. They almost get it, right? Because they get that, if there's like constant gameplay, the player's going to be exhausted.
If their goal is to
exactly
have you not go away, right? But
exactly, yeah.
I think it's better to just let the player go away and come back, right?
Exactly. That's sort of the point. It's like if you need downtime, let the player decide when they want to have downtime, right? They can turn off the game and they can go and touch grass in real life for a few hours or something, and then they can come back when they're like well rested, and then they can play the game again. You don't need to like have these sections where like it's literally just a waste of time, right? The designers are even saying like you need downtime, you need to waste the player's time, you need to put brain dead stuff in there to waste the player's time so that they don't get exhausted. And it's like, no, just don't put the brain dead stuff there and then let the player take the break when they're tired. It's like it's very weird. Because I think that's like one of the main problems with like a lot of modern games. It's that they all have so much downtime, right? It's very very boring. And
the break thing, right? That's very interesting because there seems to be. I think there was a discussion around when Hollow Knight came out, right? We discussed it where some people were they were trying to mock, which is really interesting to me. People that tell them to take breaks.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, I don't know. To me, that sounds really weird. Why would you want to do something that is so not mentally engaging that you don't need breaks, if that makes sense? Because that's the only reason you could play it for so long, right? It has to be the mental demand or whatever, or physical demand, right? If you're playing like, I don't know, DDR or something, right? You need to actually move. It has to be so low that you can play it for 8 hours straight, right? Or be, super dedicated. Right? So why would you want it to be that way? It seems really strange to me. As a player, I mean. As a
mm-hmm.
designer, I understand it completely, because then you can, have a microtransaction shop or something and just, whatever.
Yeah. And I think this sort of goes back to something we bring up a lot in this podcast in general. And it's like, it seems like a lot of gamers play games to waste their time. Like, that's the specific, like,
yes,
it's like they sit down and play a video game just like they sit down and watch like 2 seasons of Kim Kardashian or whatever. I don't know what it's called, right? It's like,
but I don't know, like, is that even? I don't even know if that comparison is fair, because sure, you're wasting your time, but how should I say this in a coherent way? Like, that show or whatever, let's say you're watching, I don't know, some comedy show, right? You're still getting some sort of very wasteful but entertaining, in some way, entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Haha, funny jokes. But if you're grinding in an RPG, you're not even enjoying the activity.
Well, that's not really true, right? Because they enjoy it when they get the loot, right? It's sort of
right,
Skinner
but
box
you're
stuff.
not, when you're watching a TV show, you're not, I'm waiting for the end. You're getting like the reward all the time, in a way, even if it's not meaningful or whatever. Yeah. But you're not even getting any, I don't know.
I mean, I think this is just a case of like, I think because you have played like a lot of games, you kind of get bored by that easier than other people. I think that's just the case. Like, I think most people, or maybe not most people, because like a lot of people who play World of Warcraft, like, or games like that, say that they hate them and they like do it because they're addicted, right? But I feel like a lot of people also enjoy that stuff, like genuinely enjoy that stuff.
I mean, I understand how you could be hooked to that, right? Because it's sort of a, to sound very mean and mean, I guess, it sort of mirrors a real activity. Like, let's say you're doing a job. You're let's say it's a real job. Why not? Then you do that, and if you do that well, people will tell you you're good, and then you'll get money, right? And then you'll get more money. And it's sort of a, so that's like very human or whatever, to want that experience in a way, right? And these games are sort of giving you that in a very fake way, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of, you can, in a very, I don't know, depressing way, pretend that you're some sort of hero and you're getting, I don't know. To me, it's way more scummy than, because if you're watching, let's say you're watching a fantasy movie where you're like watching the hero kill the dragon or whatever. That's not, that's like escapism as well, right? But it's not, it feels way less scummy to me in a movie than, or in a TV series, than in a game, because a game is, it has this, what do you say? Like, you actually, you do it, right? So it's more connected in some way, right? Which I think is, I don't know what the right word is to use, but I think that's sort of an area that's unexplored about how games like mentally like affect people or whatever, more than a TV series, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think in a way, I don't think you're being cynical enough, right? Because you can look at the popularity of like something like Power Washer Simulator or Supermarket Simulator or whatever they're called. Like, there are actually games where you simulate doing a job, right? It's like,
I think I would enjoy those more than World of Warcraft, though, to be honest.
True. But I think it's sort of depressing in a way, because instead of cleaning in real life, people are cleaning in video games. Yeah. It's like, do you kind of get what I'm saying? Yeah.
I guess they are gamified in a way, so they are more fun.
There's
I'm
like
not gonna
rewards
judge
and
all
stuff.
simulator games, obviously.
No.
There's probably
yeah,
value
yeah,
in some
but
of
I'm
them,
talking more about
especially-
like
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I'm talking more about like recent like slop simulators, right?
Yeah. But I mean, well, if
where,
we take
like-
the popular one, Euro Truck Simulator, you're literally in a truck driving for hours. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's more like an actual simulator, right?
Yeah,
so I can
that is
kind of
literally
understand
a simulator.
that.
But then again, you could just drive a real truck, right? I guess in a way. But I'm not.
That's
gonna
expensive
judge
and stuff, right? That's expensive and stuff, right? So I can kind of understand that because like
I mean, you could
someone
probably get a job as a truck driver.
Well, true, yes, but like,
I guess you need a license. Maybe, maybe.
But I can kind of understand like
simulators
more.
Yeah.
More than these like slop simulators because like
I guess you can
real
try a bunch of
simulators-
different trucks or something.
Yeah,
If you're
true.
like into trucks.
and you can like drive in America and in Europe.
Yeah, and you can
where
but
there's
like,
like
let's say
different
you're,
traffic laws and
different
stuff.
brands of
Yeah.
trucks or something. I don't. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't know. That's not as weird in my opinion. Than
Yeah.
compared to like the other stuff. Sorry, continue.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say like I feel like that's that's sort of like the even more depressing version of what you said. Like instead of cleaning in real life, people play video games where they clean and they get like Steam achievements for it and they're super happy about it or whatever. And like, yeah, those games are a waste of time. Is sort of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Because I get what you're saying. It's I don't know. Obviously, games that you play for external rewards, like we talked about last week, is not that great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not even just external stuff, right? Because you'll hear people say about something like Power Wash Simulator, they'll say like, "Oh wow, this is so satisfying when you clean up the stuff." So like in a way, that's intrinsically motivated, right? Because they like enjoy the act of making
that's
something
what I mean,
clean.
so I'm not sure.
So I'm not saying necessarily that it's like reward based game design in that way, but I'm saying that it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit too judgmental here, but I feel like if I wanted to like feel the satisfaction of seeing something be clean, I would rather just clean something in real life than do it in a video game, right? Like obviously it's lower effort in a video game, but then like I guess that's why they're popular.
With your friends. I don't. I mean, okay, you can do that in real life as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Although I guess your friends wouldn't agree to help you clean your car or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe.
true.
Probably they would say
unless you pay.
Yeah, unless you pay them.
But yeah, there was one. We always do music analogies, right?
Oof,
and I want to make another music analogy here, because I'm gonna move a bit from what we just talked about, if that's okay, and talk about something new that's related. Or did you want to say something more? Yeah, okay. So I feel like a lot of times when I get like when I listen to a song and I enjoy it really really much, like it. How do I say this? Like when I get a new favorite song or whatever, a lot of times it's not the first time I listen to it. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? It's like I listen to an album or a song once, and like the first time I don't really care for it. I'm like, yeah, this is fine or whatever. Or sometimes I even think it's bad, right?
Yeah. I mean, you probably listen to more nuanced music than I do, so you're probably like I will listen to songs sometimes that I like the first time, but I get I listen to like, your kind of music, and I get what you're saying with. Well, you can't sort of like it the first time because there's so many layers. You need to listen to it a couple of times to even.
And no.
And also you hear different things, right? From
time
to time.
But I'm not saying that like all good things like take time to appreciate or whatever, because there are really good songs that I listen to that I like enjoy the first time, and I absolutely love them, and like I keep listening to them and I still love them and whatever. But what I'm trying to focus more on is that like sometimes, not always, you listen to a song once and you won't care for it, and then you listen to it a few more times and maybe you like it a little bit more, and then you listen to it like one time, on the train or whatever, and you're like, wow, this song is really good, and you like listened to it 10 times and you didn't realize it until the 10th time or whatever. And I feel like when it comes to music, a lot of people recognize that like phenomenon or whatever. Because I see people and I hear people discuss it all the time. But like when it comes to video games, I rarely see that. I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel like there's a lot of focus on like games being instantly like hooking the player or whatever, or like being instantly addictive.
I mean,
do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Not to be super depressing or whatever, but it's the same in music. I'm sorry, because
yes.
There are people that look at games the way we do or similarly, right? That think in sort of these ways, that say the same things like you did with music. But again, like with music, most music is very generic pop music.
That's a good point. Yes,
I think it's just the same with games, basically.
Yeah, maybe, but I feel like with music, there's at least like people are generally aware of this phenomenon, whereas with games, it's like you should design your game to instantly hook the player, or you're a bad designer or whatever, or like you'll see a YouTube video where there's like top 10 tips to hook the player and make them addicted to your game or whatever.
I think for the biggest issue I would argue is the acceptance. So in music, there will be people that listen to some super popular pop star, right? And then they listen to some, I don't know, some very sophisticated jazz or something, and they'll be like, ooh, I don't like this, but you know, you do you or whatever.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, I feel like doesn't exist in games. That's a very good point. No, you have to change the game so I can play it as well. This game should be for everyone, and you should add all these things so that I can enjoy it as well. You can't have your experience. It has to be for everyone, right? And that's sort of the issue. There is no acceptance to the... not in all genres, actually. Some genres are fine. So I think puzzle games, there is acceptance. But for example, hard games or whatever, right? Hard action games, no, the zero acceptance.
Yeah.
In fact, people even look down on it, right? It's sort of this thing where people, you know...
Yeah, they're like, "Whoa, hard games aren't accessible, you're a bad person."
That's for nerds or whatever. I don't have the argument that I don't have time for this, blah blah blah, right? It's like okay.
I think it's actually very interesting that you bring this up because Derek, you posted something about this like not too long ago. It was in relation to Silksong, right? And he said something that like I had never thought about before, but when he said it, I was like, yes, that's like 100% true. And he said like the discussion about hard games is like, it's not whether hard games are good or bad, it's should hard games be allowed to exist.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of, when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, like thank God he said this, because like he put into words like what I've been feeling for like a million years. It's like people aren't arguing, oh, I don't think hard games are good because of this and that. They're saying hard games shouldn't be allowed to exist. We should purge hard games from existence.
Yeah.
And like that's such a weird like sentiment to have, I think.
Yeah.
Because I can understand that someone like prefers easy games or whatever, but like I can't really understand why someone would want to like tell me that I can't enjoy the games I enjoy because I like hard games.
And
right?
I want to point, this is super off topic by the way, but that's fine, we're off topic now. I want to point something out that I've thought about quite a bit. I don't want to say recently, but like this past, I don't know, couple of months, probably since Silksong, which is that people say, oh, what harm does it do to add an easy mode? And if I think about it theoretically, it does, except for the fact that it takes time to create it, right? The developers need to put in time. It doesn't seem like a bad idea, but if you look in practice, you can see that it matters. And I'm not quite sure why, but I don't know if it's the developer intent that is more clear or something. There's something, because you can tell, for example, Silksong, right? It's one of the biggest games this year.
Yeah.
And obviously there's harder games than that that are less popular or whatever, but still. And it did. I feel like if it did have easy mode, it would hurt the game, right?
Yeah. I actually have like a comparison that I like to make, which is that, but nobody seems to agree with me when I say this. So
I'm
maybe
not
you
gonna
will.
agree.
It's like,
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's like saying that a hard game should have an easy mode is like telling the director of a horror movie to make a version of the movie without the jump scares.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like.
It
Yeah,
is.
sure, he can do that, but like, what's the point of watching the movie then? You're watching the movie because it's scary, so like,
Yes.
he should make a movie without the scary scenes. Why?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you, but then let's say the argument is that, okay, we do that.
Yeah.
In that case, I don't know if that would take away from the experience. Like, let's say they did that cut, the like no scary cut, and you get that as well. You buy the DVD or the Blu-ray, and you get the no scary cut and the actual real cut, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, I don't know if it would hurt, or whatever word you want to use, the real experience, the scary, because let's face it, no one would buy it for the non-scary one because it's a ridiculous example, right? But I feel like if you do that with a game, sometimes it works, but I don't know. I think there's something about okay, I know how to say this now. So in a game, your confidence, that's the best word, is constantly challenged, or whatever. Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. So you'll come up with some against something, and it will be too hard, and because you're oh boy, this is gonna be super like whatever. Your the part of your brain that is well, how do you say, your what's the word? Oh no, what's the word?
Cognition?
Conscience.
Okay.
Not conscience.
Consciousness?
No, the part that. Oh my god, my brain gave up here. What's the word for this? The part where you're like actively thinking and what do you say?
Cognition?
It's the part where you're doing the decision, like the thing that you're actively you. What do you call that? Oh my god.
I don't know what you mean, but I get what you're saying.
Like of. You have the subconscious, right, where you're not.
Oh, the conscious.
Maybe that's what you call it.
This
is super like not scientific. I'm sorry, but whatever. My point is the part that is actively, thinking like, oh, I can do this, I cannot do this. I should go eat a hamburger. I should not go eat a hamburger. That part is very small in your brain. So that part is very judgmental about like. Let's say you're playing Silksong and you can't do it, and it's gonna go like, no, that's physically, like, I can't do that, right? And I hear that a lot from other people where they're like, oh, that's for pro gamers, I can't do that or whatever, because their perception of what they're capable of is very limited because they're only thinking of in terms of their like active thinking mind and not the entire brain, and so they'll be judgmental to the game as well, where they'll be like, oh no, this boss in Silksong is impossible, right? And let's say there's 2 difficulty modes, then their perception will be like, oh well, they just made this difficulty mode because they wanted to, put in something impossible, right? You'll what's the word? You'll make an argument for changing the difficulty, right? Because, well, obviously this is not made for normal people, right? You're supposed to play the other mode, right? Whereas if the game says, no, you can do this, right? Confidence in the player, then the player has to go, well, I guess I can do this, or I'll try to do this until I can do it or whatever. And then, you can do it because your brain is huge and you don't understand the capabilities of your brain, so after a while you'll figure it out. That was a very weird ranty thing, but I think you get what I was trying to say there.
Yeah.
And it was also very incoherent with the brain stuff, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I do agree, because like a lot of the times, like I think the like best example of this that I've experienced is Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, where it's like there are like jumps in that game that actually seem physically impossible. Like my first reaction when I like see a jump and I try it. Oh yeah, that's
like not getting up to the bucket, but then you need to swing the bucket up.
Oh, true.
That's
Yeah.
Like,
well, exactly. There's like a bunch of stuff like that, and it's like the first reaction is like, how the fuck do I do that? What the hell? And then like you try it a billion times, and you finally like figure it out, and it's amazing.
But the thing is, the thing is, you still don't understand how you do it, right? Because it's subconscious, right? It's in the like part of your brain that's not actively thinking. So it's like you're like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now. I don't know, right? Exactly. It's not like I figured the bucket. That's I'm doing math. Yeah. It's like no, my brain is just doing it. I don't know. I'm pressing. It's almost like people talk about when there is like skills with your hands. It's like your hands are doing it on their own, right?
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing. Yeah. Sorry,
but I always like to bring up Getting Over It as an example because I feel like I say this every time I bring that game up. But like my first playthrough of that game took me 5 hours, and my second playthrough of that game took me 15 minutes.
Yeah,
and I think that's a very like good way to tie this into the topic of today, right? Because like Getting Over It is a game that values your time a lot. It's like it
throws you down, right? But
yeah, exactly. And I think that's sort of funny, right? Because a lot of people would argue that it's a waste of time, which we've talked about in previous episodes, right? But like it's not. Like you need the like emotional despair or whatever from losing your progress. Like that's a part of the game.
Also,
but like
all the React videos, obviously, or not React, like
true.
Yeah, all the marketing.
The Markiplier screaming videos.
Markiplier screaming videos. Yes, those are very important.
Yes, but yeah, it's like it sort of goes back to what we talked about, where it's like games today are like 100 hours long, and people say, "Wow, this game is 100 hours long. Whoa, that's epic! So many cutscenes and so much horse riding or whatever." But like, if you take a game that's like not that long, like Getting Over It, which like in my second playthrough took 15 minutes, and then you make it super hard and super deep, then I'm gonna spend 5 hours playing a 15 minutes game rather than spending 15 minutes playing it. And it feels like because that's a meaningful time investment, right? It's like I'm learning something, I am evolving as a person, I am being challenged, I am all of that stuff. Whereas with something like The Witcher 3, it's like, okay, yeah, it takes 100 hours, but 75 of those hours were me riding a horse. And that's not very interesting, and I was bored all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add one thing so people know it's super mad, though. I think it's fine for some games to have difficulty modes, and I also think it's fine for some games to be on the easier side, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying that I feel like I don't know. They're like well, I don't know what the right word. I sort of feel like a developer that says this is what you do shows that the developer is more confident and therefore encourages me more to play it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the other, it's like, well, you could do this. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. I don't care. You can do this or that. Or it's sort of I think we discussed Doom, the Dark Ages at some point, where it's like, oh, you can just make your own difficulty. And they are like super excited about it because, you can make it however hard you want. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe people do, but to me it seems like no one cares about that game anymore.
Yeah, I think it flopped pretty hard actually. Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the numbers,
I do think that is part of it because it becomes very unclear from your from the gamer's perspective what the intent is.
Yeah, and
it also sort of ruins the magic in that case because it's you can tweak the parry timing or whatever, and it's like, wait, what does that even mean, right? Yeah. So if you're not technically involved, it's like, okay, so I can just make like, I don't know. It seems like a number you don't want to, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally get. Like, I think that's actually a better example of what you were saying before, where it's like, well, what is the parry timer supposed to be, right? Yeah. That's like, because I can't evaluate that because I'm not good at the game, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, the starting thing. Yeah, that's a big. Yeah, we talked about this before. That's actually a good point. I'm gonna bring it up anyways because people probably didn't watch that video. Which is that this is mostly an issue for like when you start, like when you play it early, right? If you played through the game, it sort of doesn't matter if there's difficulty modes, right? Because you already know what the game expects of you. So to me, for example, if there would be, or did you finish Silksong, right?
Yeah, like not the bonus content, but the main story.
So to you, it wouldn't really matter if there was difficulty modes now, because it would not be nice. But my point is, you don't really care, right? Because you know what the game expects of you, and you have already seen all the parts. But if you're new, it sort of becomes harder to evaluate. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to bring up.
On topic.
Yes. Well, we have been on topic.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Sure,
we're always on topic.
Yeah, we're always on topic.
And this is something that we've also brought up in videos before. I think specifically it was like the second video we ever made. You should check it out. It's fantastic. And that's competitive matchmaking. Because you mentioned Counter-Strike in the beginning of the video, right?
Yep.
And I play a lot of Counter-Strike, and I enjoy Counter-Strike a lot. I think it's a great game. And, I've played it for like 1,000 hours, and I don't think it's a waste of time. It's a very good game, and I've enjoyed my time, and I've learned a lot and whatever. But one thing that annoys me a lot about Counter-Strike is the competitive matchmaking, right? Because that's it's sort of designed to waste your time in a way, right? And we went a lot into depth in our second video, as I said, about why this doesn't work, but I thought I'd like bring it up because it's related. And it just feels like, because a lot of people will describe competitive matchmaking as a grind, right? It's like, I'm grinding to diamond tier or whatever in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Or I'm grinding to 30k in CS or whatever. And it feels like a lot of people are playing those games to, once again see the number go up. It goes back to this like extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation that we talked about last video. But like, it's so weird because like people aren't playing the game to like play the game and learn the game and like have an interesting experience or whatever. They're playing a game to like get a higher rank, and it's so weird. I don't know what I wanted to say about this,
weird,
but
actually, but. It because it ties back to the grind stuff we talked about with MMOs, and I also think it's part. Some people do it solo, but I feel like a lot of people do it with their friends as well, so it becomes this friend thing. There's a lot of different things, but I mean, if you truly wanted to be good at Counter-Strike, you would probably try to figure out how to get better at Counter-Strike instead of grinding ranked, right? I guess. Yeah. That's sort of the point.
Yeah. Well, yes. Because I feel like, we talked about this in that video. But like, it feels like grinding ranked is so pointless, right? Because none of the matches mean anything. Like, it's like you're thrown in against 5 random people, and if you aren't playing with your friends, you're also thrown in with 4 random teammates. And there's like, you don't know anything about the people you're meeting, so you don't know their playstyle. You can't like,
you can't evaluate the match at all.
Exactly, and it's like, so if you lose 13-0, is that because you were playing poorly, or was it because the other team was playing super good?
I think that's also why people like it, because they can always blame their teammates.
Yeah. True, very true.
Always blame teammates.
But yeah, I think that's like the main point. It's like very hard to evaluate because sometimes it feels like I'm playing super good and like I still lose, and I don't know if it's because I was bad and I was just delusional, like I wasn't playing good at all, I was just delusional, or if it's because my enemies were like way better than the average person I meet or whatever. And
Smurfs.
Yes. Or just people are better than me. Yeah. That's also fine.
I mean, I said that in that video as well, but I'll just say that again. And I used to play a lot of, I don't know what to call it, competitive games in quotation marks, right? And at one point, or at some points, I had this experience where I did basically just play tournament style matches, right? And when you've had that, you can't stand the normal matchmaking anymore, because that's that experience is much more, like you said, with the feedback, right? You'll get like, oh, first of all, it's not I suck, it's we suck, right? Because you're a team, if it's a team game. But also, it's way more clear, right? You're playing a bad team. Oh no, we did poorly because we against that bad team, versus, oh, we played the best team in the world in this game, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we did okay when we lost, but we lost. The game was close, but we lost. Yeah, that's probably a good match against the best team in the world. But against the worst team, it's not, right? So so you can have that evaluation. It's also more fun because it's actually more social. So like that's actually, wow, this is off topic, but I don't care. I'm gonna bring it up anyway. I think people are a bit too judgmental when talking about. So people talk about, social stuff, right? Where people are not like, they should go outside and play with their friends and blah 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 blah. And I feel that's a bit ignorant, actually, because I feel like, depending on how you play some of these games, especially that kind of experience, right, where you're playing with teams, you're organizing matches with other teams, with other human beings, right? That is very social, right? And I feel like a lot of people are missing out on that experience. So like,
because they're just playing.
It's just like you don't you dehumanize or whatever the opponents or whatever in the game. Tied to toxicity and all of that. People are, toxicity is going up. Well, you're literally placed against random people. Obviously, toxicity
with random people.
Yeah, and then there's a number tied to it that goes up or down depending on who you got or who you didn't get. Yeah, obviously it's gonna be more toxic. It's so obvious. I don't even know what they are expecting, right? Compared to no, you literally know all the in Counter-Strike it's 5v5, right? You know all 9 other players. Like, you talk to all of them, and they've given you advice, or you've given them advice of how to play, and you're right. You're not gonna call them idiots or whatever in chat, or worse stuff. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think.
Yeah. Do we have any more points we want to bring up on the topic?
I don't know. I think we've sort of delved into it enough. Do you have anything you want to say?
I think we got through most of the things.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's like, I get that maybe. I mean, we bring this up every time, where it's like, this busy person that has all these things to do for real, and not the fake people that go online and, I'm so busy, I don't have time to whatever, right? And they just play like an hour a week or whatever, and then they go play some grindy garbage. I totally understand that, right? Because they're not playing games seriously. They're just, they got an hour to waste or whatever, sure.
Yeah.
Right? And that's their way to waste that hour, because we all waste hours sometimes, and we do it in different ways, right?
Yeah.
So I get that. But I feel like you can't do that too much, right? I guess.
I also feel like related to this, I feel like a lot of times when people criticize something for being a waste of time, the response will often be that it's like, well, I'm just doing this to relax or whatever. And I do think that point is valid, right? If you just play video games like to relax every night,
in my opinion.
Exactly, that's sort of my point, because I feel like
a game critic should not say that, for example.
Yeah.
Because they
that's
should
sort of,
be playing too many games for that to be a thing, right? They should have something else to waste their time.
Yeah.
Or they can waste their time on games, but sorry, continue.
Yeah, so the thing I wanted to say is, like, if I say that World of Warcraft is a waste of time, I think like it almost feels like, you know, the people who grind World of Warcraft 10 hours a day are the ones who will come out and say, well, I'm just doing it to relax, right? Or I'm just doing it to chill out or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, it's what I'm trying to say is that it's not really like, it's fine to waste your time to relax, right?
Sometimes,
because as you said, we all do it.
there is definitely
like,
a limit to how much you should
yes.
waste your time. I'm not the one to judge what that limit is. You'll be your own judge, but
yes,
to me it's yeah. Obviously, I not 8 hours a day, right?
Yes, but the point I wanted to make is that it doesn't really like, it shouldn't really work as a way to deflect criticism, right? It's like,
for sure,
this game is a waste of time. Well, it's fine that it's a waste of time because I'm not taking this very seriously or whatever. Like, sure, but like, it doesn't excuse the fact that the game is a waste of time. It's like, we can accept that it's a waste of time, and then it's fine that it's a waste of time, right? But like, don't try to pretend that it isn't.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna bring up our favorite example that literally no one ever, like, every time we bring this up, it bothers me. Everyone just ignores it but it's a great example, which is McDonald's food or whatever, junk food. Yeah. You know, I am not a gourmet eater, right? I'll go to McDonald's and I'll be like, man, this is a great burger, and I'll eat it and I'll be very happy. But I will not go to some gourmet chef and they're talking about their like French word food stuff. Let's say there's two like gourmet chefs. They're talking about gourmet food, like, oh, I like this, you know, food, and I like this, and I'll not. I will never ever go up to them and say, you have you tried McDonald's hamburgers, right? That's insane, right?
Yeah.
But I would probably not even enjoy what they're eating, right? That's probably because, you know, I have trash food taste, right? I just eat trash food. So the point is sort of that I don't like. I'm not gonna say that I'm a, you know, gourmet person that knows my stuff about food, and I won't take offense when someone tells me your taste in food is trash, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know why that's a thing with games. I guess because people are spending so much time with it. I don't know. It's sort of an identity thing. I don't think people are identifying with McDonald's. Maybe I think.
Some people probably do, but like not as.
But
not
they
as
would probably
many.
be angry if you told them that it's not gourmet food, right?
True.
So I don't know. Yeah. So the mandatory food example that no one cares about, I brought it up.
Yes, we've had the food example, we've had the music example.
Yeah.
We're so predictable.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything else you want to say, or do you think?
I think we need to wrap up here.
Yeah, we need to wrap up. We're over time or whatever. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for watching as usual. Leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Recently. Yes, fantastic. Love the comments. Keep at it. And also like dislike and give hate comments if you disagree as well, of course, as usual.
Reasonable hate comments, please.
Yes. And like, if you really disagree with us, like, paste our video in like a Discord with 100,000 members. Yeah,
paste it everywhere and like, yeah. Good idea.
And like get people to give us hate comments because we love them.
Yeah.
Yes. No. But yeah, that was it for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Bye bye.